I have long noticed that, kids will work okay when I ask them to do something. But when there's a competition involved, very often they just go to a whole higher level.
Hello, and welcome to the Arts of Language podcast with Andrew Pudewa, founder of the Institute for Excellence in Writing, or as many like to say, IEW. My name is Julie Walker, and I'm honored to serve Andrew and IEW as the Chief Marketing Officer. Our goal is to equip teachers and teaching parents with methods and materials which will aid them in training their students to become confident and competent communicators and thinkers. Well, Andrew, this is March. I know you know that.
It is March 4th,
Well,
National Grammar Day.
Well, it's not actually March 4th, but...
Well, but the date is the only date that makes a complete sentence.
Right.
March 4th, exclamation point.
Right.
So let's talk about how we can help our kids do that. March 4th into...
Writing contests.
Yeah.
So we announce our writing contests in March, and so that's what we're doing today for this podcast.
Yeah, and you know that I have long been a proponent of contests. I think that we've all experienced this with our own kids or our classes. We try to motivate them to do their best. We use checklists. We may have some kind of little, tickets or reward system, or we use an acknowledgement of grade or whatever. But I have long noticed that, kids will work okay when I ask them to do something. But when there's a competition involved, very often they just go to a whole higher level. And I've seen this with, kids in speech and debate. I've seen this with kids entering various contests. And I remember one year I had the whole group I was teaching do the National History Day competition.
Right? Yeah, I remember that.
And I was just overwhelmed with the tremendous effort they put in for this contest. And I felt a little bit sad, like, how come you don't work that hard for me?
Right.
But once the thing got underway, it shifted from this is something they have to do because it's an assignment to something that they really poured their heart and mind and energy into. And I think that we benefit so greatly when we have those sorts of contests and competitions and concrete goals with a little bit of external accountability, a little external feedback as well. And so I have long been trying to always let people know, hey, there's a Daughters of the American Revolution contest here. There's this contest over there. We've even sponsored, writing contests for other organizations just because it's a good thing to do. But we have had some really fantastic results from our competitions.
And I will just mention that years ago, I actually wrote an article for our Magalog about the benefits of contests. I don't even remember the name of it, but I talk about how my own kids did musical theater. And that really helped them with their public speaking, with their musical abilities, and just this idea of having an audience, writing for someone other than just your teacher or just your mom. And like you say, kind of kick it up a notch. We actually have, I'm going to mention our website, iew.com/contest. And if you go to that website, link in the show notes, you will see that we list several contests, not just our own, that we offer, but just an opportunity for people to show their prowess in writing. And of course, we also have our magnum opus magazine. This is based on Webster's idea of, hey, collect all the best work, magnum opus, publish it, and then the students can be just really gratified to see. And this year's copy, this is actually volume 15.
It gets better every year.
It does. It really does.
This issue of the magnum opus, I read a good number of them on an airplane, and I just thought, wow, this is really spectacularly good writing, and not just a couple kids, dozens.
Yes, exactly. And we do publish the winners of our essay contest in the Magnum Opus magazine as well. So that's kind of a both and, but our writing contest, every year we try to come up with some interesting prompts.
And how long have we been doing this?
We have been doing this, Andrew Pudewa, for 10 years.
10
Can you believe
years.
that?
That's nice, but frightening, actually, too. So
to imagine that we've been doing this long. And every year we come up with a different prompt. And so we've had prompts where there was a quote that we gave one year about necessity is the mother of invention. It takes someone to see a problem and then come up with a way to solve it and then write an essay about this. And we have 3 different levels so that the 8-year-olds are not competing against the 18-year-olds. So we kind of categorize them according to age and ability, but mostly it's just age.
Yeah. We don't know everybody's
Ability.
But so we have our junior level. Kids are 8 to 10.
Yes.
And then we have 11 to 13 and then 14 and up.
14 to 18. And that's on March 1st.
So whatever age you are on March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So if you turned 12 on February 28th, you are stuck in the upper group.
You're in level B.
But if you turn 12 on March 2nd.
Well, it's ages 11 to 13. So you're safe if you're 12. Either way.
Anyway, March 1st, that's the magic day.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly. So this year's prompt that you came up with, which I love, we usually try to avoid doing things we don't want to do. I did laugh at this because I know that is human nature, but that is especially you when we need you to write an article.
Oh, come on now. I do what I have to do.
Well, and you have written an exceptionally, when you do write, Andrew, you do a great job. And I love the writing that you did this year for our Magalog.
Well, I always tell the kids, you don't have to like doing this. Just do it.
Just do it.
And there's an irony here because it might be that someone says to their kids, here's a writing contest. I want you to enter. And their immediate reaction is, do I have to?
Yeah.
That's hard. And of course, this year's prompt is about doing hard things.
Doing hard things, yes. We usually try to avoid doing things we don't want to do, but sometimes when we go ahead and do them, we experience benefits.
Yeah, it's like I don't like writing, but I like having written something. I like seeing what I wrote in print.
Exactly. Okay, so level A, this is the actual prompt for those 8 to 10-year-olds. Write a 2-paragraph composition answering this prompt. What is the hardest thing you have ever done? I mean, if you're 8, not too much life experience, but that's okay.
They may need some help thinking of all the things they've done because kids that age kind of live in the moment. And I might mention it doesn't necessarily have to be a single thing. It could be a responsibility that you gained, milking the goats in the morning or something that, lasted over time rather than, I climbed a big mountain or whatever. Yeah, the hardest thing you've done, okay?
Okay, so write a 2-paragraph composition answering this prompt. What is the hardest thing you have ever done? How did you feel when you finished, or what lesson did you learn? That's level A, 8 to 10-year-olds. Level B, write a 4 or 5-paragraph composition answering this prompt. What is the hardest thing you have accomplished? Describe the process, what you learned, and benefits gained. Now, I just want to speak to our listeners. If you are familiar with our structure and style models, you know that Unit 7 is the blank page, respond to a prompt generally. And in this model, what we teach, especially for level B, is a 5-paragraph model coming up with 3 topics. We even told you what the topics are.
We're helping.
How hard could this be?
Never helped too much.
Never helped too much, right? Okay, level C, write a 5 to 7-paragraph composition answering this prompt. What is something you resisted doing but attempted anyway? Describe the experience, the outcome, as well as lessons learned and or benefits gained.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 topics right there, ready to go.
Now, there are some rules about the contest and how to submit them and everything, because we scrutinize them. And first of all, we're going to see if you followed the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get kicked out. Andrew, I don't think I've ever told you this. And I graduated from the same high school that the Beach Boys went to. You know, the Beach Boys, that group from Southern California?
Oh, man, I have to go way back in my ancient memory. But yes, I have heard of the Beach Boys.
Yes, well, they're pretty popular even today. And I also had...
Really? Today? They must be like 80 years old.
Well, everybody who's listening to this right now probably knows who the Beach Boys and is pretty impressed that, you know, there's my claim to fame. They graduated 25 years before I did. But we had the same band instructor. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's cool.
And here's one thing that the claim to fame for Mr. Morgan, he failed the Beach Boys on the song Surfing USA. Now, that's the story. This might be urban legend. But the reason he failed it was because they did the wrong assignment.
Oh.
And so even though it is a gold and platinum rock single, you know, amazing song that everybody loved, and you hear all the cities that you and I went and played at when we were living in Southern California, not together. We kind of grew up in the same locale, but we never met each other until much later. But here's my point with all this. If you don't follow the rules, you will not win this contest.
But the rules aren't terribly restrictive.
Well, this
they?
is an essay. This is not a story. Don't tell a story. Make it something that you've actually experienced.
Well, a good essay can include elements of a story.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because you have to set it up. But there is that reflection part. And that's really where the key to the content is not just what you did, but what you think, feel, believe as a result, and how that affects you.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, just a few of the checklist. We don't have a style checklist.
Right, because anybody can enter whether they've done instruction style or not.
But they do need to format it with Times New Roman, 12-point double-spaced format, even the 8-year-olds. So you might need to get mom to help.
They're going to get some help on that part, I believe.
Do not include your name on the paper.
That's good.
Because it has to be anonymous.
It has to be anonymous.
And center the title. And that's it. And then you follow the prompts, and we will, of course, post this on the website. But I'm excited 10 years. It's a long time. We need some special sparkle with the prizes.
Oh, you always want to up those prizes.
I do. And I'm really excited to be able to announce that Andrew has approved new prize levels for 2025.
Because it's the 10th year.
Because it's the 10th year, yeah. So
and
it may not be...
you persuaded me.
It may not be as generous in following years. But here we go. If you win third prize, the student who wins third prize gets a $100 check.
Right.
And the parent receives a $100 IEW gift certificate.
Or teacher?
The parent or teacher, right. Whoever is helping the student submit the assignment. And we've had before where whole classrooms are submitting essays to be evaluated, which I love that. And of course, we publish the best ones, as I mentioned, in our Magnum Opus magazine. Second prize. If you are a student, you will receive a check for $200, and the teacher or parent will receive a $200 IEW gift certificate.
And that's for each level.
Yes.
Right? So there's third, second, and first for the 8 to 10-year-olds, the 11 to 13-year-olds, and the 14 to 18-year-olds. Okay.
Yep. So normally we do half of that. But this year we're doubling it because it's the 10th year. First prize, the students win $400. Hey, kids, do hard things. It may just pay off.
That's getting into some serious potential there.
Exactly. And the parents or teachers will receive a $400 IEW gift certificate. So that's our writing contest for 2025. We're looking forward to seeing your submissions. The deadline to submit is April 30th. So you only have a few weeks, but that's plenty of time to be able to come up with some ideas.
We've got at least a month.
Yes, you've
got
got a month.
Which is more than a few.
It's true.
Because you have told me a couple is 2, a few is 3, and several is 4 or more.
But what you have also told me, and not me specifically, but just kids in general, don't procrastinate.
Don't procrastinate. Yes. So procrastinate is from the Latin, pro meaning for, and cras is the adverb for tomorrow. So when you procrastinate, you say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. No. If you want to do well in a contest, and this one in particular, start now, write, revise, get some feedback.
Mm-hmm.
The kids aren't totally cut off from help. right? We want to inspire the parents and teachers to help the kids be their best by asking some helpful questions. But don't, of course, write the thing for your kids.
Yes.
Spelling and all that can be edited as normal. I think we've had a pretty good balance between, help with parents, but not meddling, coercing, or just doing the whole thing for them.
Right.
Although with these higher dollar amounts, I don't know. The temptation could be too strong.
Yes. Well, that's all we have to talk about today. I think it's a worthy topic, and I look forward to seeing from your students what you are going to have them submit or you submit on their behalf for our writing contest.
Well, I'm very tempted to encourage my grandchildren, who are old enough, to participate, but it does have to be anonymous.
Yes.
And I'm not involved in the judging myself at all. So I just look at the winners and appreciate the efforts.
So our judges, Andrew, you say you're not judging them. It's true. We have an exceptional group of teachers, our own IEW online teachers, who will be providing the feedback and deciding ultimately who our winners are.
And the winning essays are published both on our website as well as in the Magnum Opus magazine. Is that correct?
We have a digital version and then we have a print version. So you can request to be signed up for either one of those. And we include our Magnum Opus magazine in every IEW order now, just because it's such a great way to show people what is possible.
Well, and I think it's a resource, too, that teachers can have and then pull out a model composition. This is how some kids did their inventive writing for Unit 7, which is, of course, what this really is, writing from your own memory, experience, imagination.
Yep, this is not a research project. This is your own experience. So, well, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing the submissions.
All right. I am, too.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please subscribe to our podcast in iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify, or just visit us each week at iew.com/podcasts. Here you can also find show notes and relevant links from today's broadcast. One last thing, would you mind going to iTunes to rate and review our podcast? This really helps other smart, caring listeners like you find us. Thanks so much.